Good morning. We're continuing our series of Wednesday conversations where we have a time of having a conversation about whatever. We bring on a host. Typically, too, we'll talk about what we talked about in last week's sermon. And today I'm joined with Christine to kind of talk about a continuation of the series we're doing on the mat. This week, Pastor Eric talked about the guy on the mat. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I thought it was good because I think we forget sometimes, or not that we forget, we don't want to be on the mat. Mm-hmm. Our human nature is, I don't want to be on the mat. I want to be the guy carrying the mat, and he talked about that. Mm-hmm. We want to be the superhero. We want to be Squirrel Man. But to be on the mat, just that vulnerability and admitting you're on it is just a hard thing, I think, as humans. And I know I struggle with it of, when do I need to say, like, hey, I'm on the mat right now.
Yeah, and a lot of times, too, I think immediately, because in the story it's situational, it is someone who is paralyzed, that we think it has to be something so severe, but it really doesn't.
Yeah. Well, and it doesn't always have to be a physical thing. Mm-hmm. Again, in the story, it is a physical thing. And Pastor Eric gave some great examples of when people are on the mat, but there's so many times that we're on the mat. And whether that's, a broken friendship, I'm on the mat during that time because I'm hurt. Or I lost a job, I'm on the mat. Like, there's so many thousands of ways that we can be on the mat, and whether that's something I've done to myself, like a mistake I've made, and it's like, I just put myself on the mat, or when someone's done something to me, like I said, of, you lose your job, like, okay, someone else did that to me, and now I'm on the mat.
And how often I think we miss the opportunity to ask for help. I don't know if it's because of it's where we live or because of the pride that we have, but way too often we just kind of push it under the rug or just push it deep down inside of us that we don't need help or that we can help ourselves, when that's not really the case. God over and over and over again in the scriptures says, cry out to me, use the gifts of one another to reach out, have those relationships around you, that it's okay to be vulnerable, to accept help, and to ask for it.
Yeah. I think of, especially as being parents, like, I got to be super mom or I got to be super dad. Like, I can't admit when I need someone to help me get kids places or whatever. Like, sometimes we put on that wall of, I have to make it look like I'm the best mom ever and I take care of everything, where we're all running around trying to get kids places and do things of, it's okay to ask for help.
I think, too, a lot of times if you look at the characters in Scripture, we may see them as on a pedestal, or that, they are superheroes, but they were broken people just like us. And a great example, too, when you talk about somebody who maybe put himself on the mat over and over and over again, is David. I mean, if you read the Psalms, probably 80% of them are him doubting God, asking God why, asking for forgiveness. Probably only 20% are him, like, confident, okay, God, I trust in you. And just a small reminder, this Wednesday is from Psalm 34 and verse 18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. That it's okay to need help. When we're broken down, when we're suffering, when we can't seem to get off the mat, God is there. Yep. He is still with us all the time. And that's why when Jesus takes this man on the mat, he first forgives his sins, because that's the most important thing, and that's what Jesus does for us too. But then he does care for his physical, in this case physical, but his what's happening here on this world too. Yeah. Jesus does care what happens to us in this life as well.
Yeah, that spiritual need as well as that earthly need that he had at that time. And I think, it's great that you bring up he first forgives. Like, that's the first thing that Christ has done for us by dying on the cross. And not only does he take care of us spiritually, he takes care of us every day. Again, that's in Scripture over and over again. And I think it's great because we're going to be doing the Forgiving Challenge. And we're starting this March 5th and 6th as we do our Lenten series. So I think this will be a great time for all of us to focus on that spiritual side of, okay, where do I need forgiveness and where do I need to give forgiveness at different times. So we do encourage you guys to pick up these books. We'll be starting that first weekend in March, but these are available in the Point by the Welcome Center and then also in the church office.
I'm so excited for that. I actually started piecing through. I know we're not supposed to start until March, but I started peeking into it too just to get a sense, and I'm super, super excited for it.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff in there.
So, well, thank you for joining me this Wednesday and joining a cup of coffee with me too. And we'll see you guys later this week, and maybe join us again next time for more Wednesday conversations.